Jali is a garden of the world. History is a verbal. You have to speak for people to know about something. So that's why they call us in English living history books, so you can learn everything from us.
Oral traditions are so important because really they reflect this ideological understanding of the world, right? Where knowledge is communal and it's shared. And so it doesn't belong to one person. So when people don't come together in those spaces to hear, like, what would be the equivalent of a griot, right? To hear an elder speak or talk, then you lose a lot of those traditions in the process.
As I started to learn about the griot tradition and how it's traditionally passed down, I realized I was stepping into a way of like reclaiming this ancestral practice.
So Jali is that to protect the humanity with the world. My name is Yakuba Sissoko. I am a Jali from Mali in West Africa, born into Jali family from a father and mother. I'm proud of being Jali and to be born into Jali family. Some can say Jali, some pronounce Jali, but the griot is a French word. So they say griot in French because they couldn't translate exactly. They just griot, which means storyteller, peacemaker.
The Jolly is probably best understood as a storyteller, an oral historian, a praise singer that travels among tribes. The term is West African in origin, but you'll see it spelled differently. In parts of West Africa that were colonized by the French, you will see the term griot. So they're a figure who is ubiquitous in West African society and really throughout Africa. They can operate in different roles in different spaces. So they had ceremonial roles, they had spiritual roles, they had social roles. And so you see them, in communal settings like tribal meetings, telling stories or reciting poetry or playing instruments to entertain people. At the birth of a new child, or at a marriage ceremony, when they are reporting to the king, for example, they might be, making a proclamation about, who the next ruler will be, because in some cases, they are believed to have divine insight. They're really unique in that regard because there are not many figures that you see operating in both like political and sacred and secular spaces. Similar to a caste system in other cultural contexts, right? Where if your family was merchants, like you were born into a merchant caste. So yeah, it was a class, it was a hereditary position, which didn't necessarily mean that you didn't get training, right? You still had this process of learning the tools of the trade, so to speak. And you had to practice your craft, of course.
And each noble family is supposed to have the Jali who play kora. And it's a very spiritual instrument. All the traditional instruments belong to Jali first. We have Ongoni, we have a bolong, we have a balafon, and a kora. But kora and balafon and ngoni, yes, they are really, really Jali instruments. They belong to Jali. You cannot become a Jali. You have to be born Jali. But anybody can do Jali work. Anybody can do storytelling like a Jali. You can play Jali instrument like a Jali. That's not a problem.
I really like that song we played together. We were really vibing well with each other.
Yeah. When I play this, you can. Kora represents also human body. It's a very secret but also significant instrument. But when you play kora, you facing each other. Kora face you, and the body of a kora face of the public. So that means you have a connection with the kora whatever you think here goes into your hands, and you express yourself with the kora. Each material element on the kora have a meaning. Like when you look at the calabash, this cow skin and this wood game in the red wood on the kora, they all play in a very important role in our life. I learned the kora from my grandfather. Samakun Tunkara was a master. I did everything possible to succeed with the kora playing. Any instrument, not only kora, you have to have a connection between you and your instrument. Get to know your instrument, then the instrument will allow you to play any musical style. Just play this.
I started playing the kora 2 years ago, and about 6 months into my own studying or my own journey with the kora, I realized I needed to sit at the feet of a master. Jacoba and I connected, and by the time we were like halfway through our first lesson, we realized there was like a reason that we had come together. He said, I think, you have found your teacher, and it felt like there was this beautiful, like divine orchestration that was happening between like my ancestors and his ancestors that really brought us together. He is coming to this place in the States where he's allowing so many African Americans to heal through spiritualism, and that was something I didn't have access to prior to learning the kora.
A lot of Jali traditional music are disappearing. We have to stay and remind first our elder and remind the younger that we have to keep Jali tradition. Don't forget what belonged to your family. They passed that along to you, and you're supposed to pass to another generation. We have to go back to the tradition, not to let the tradition, disappear. We're gonna play a short song dedicated to Jali people first, because that's a Jali introduction song, which means Jalia, Alade Jaliada, which means God created Jali to serve the world, to tell the world history, to unite people, and also to make peace between people. For me, I want to go and do cultural exchange. I want to live with our community in America. We're not sharing also the history for only our people who are immigrant, but the Afro-American, we want to also come and share with them, because many of them don't know the history, African history, and also they want to know where they come from. If I'm there, they can know that who they are and who are Jali people. So that's why I decide to come here, stay here.
There's always going to be a need for an elder to preserve the history of a tribe or a community, to provide blessings, to stand in that space between the sacred and secular world. And I think for many folks, that's how we envision the Jali and the griot. It's a figure that continues to be important despite the ways in which the role has evolved. But Jacoba is so important because he's helping kind of bridge the gap between the old and new, right? And he basically is a type of living tradition. And that's so important for being able to preserve these traditions into the future.